What's going on? It's Red here with the first ever theory for the Theories and Queries series, and we're going to be talking about what happened to Red. Not maybe before anyone says anything, because I'm like right here, but the real Red, the Red from old games such as like Red and Blue, obviously Yellow, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. Why the hell he disappeared from Mount Silver, and what's going to be like what basically what happened to him. Now we all know Red from Origins was like, oh, well, I've got to go catch all the Pokemon. Professor Oak sends me on this like terrible quest where apparently all the Pokemon need to be found and stored in the Pokedex because he's too lazy to go do it himself. So he sends out him and Blue, and then he reaches this point where he sees and catches all 150 Pokemon, and he eventually gets to the point where Blue gets fucked up by Mewtwo. So then he goes and catches Mewtwo, and then what happens is he's just like, oh well, apparently there's another Pokemon. So basically, he's missing a Pokemon who is because obviously Mew's Mewtwo. So what happened to where's the first Mew? So then Mew's sighted, and then he's like, oh, I gotta go catch Mew, and then it disappears after that. From this point on, Red realized that longer images are better than shorter ones. So maybe what happened to him from then on is that he decided that he has to go catch Mew and he has to go on his epic quest. I mean, he's Pokemon champion, but maybe did he give that up just to go on this to catch this final Pokemon? And now the fact that he has to go do this, it's like why and why would he want to go do this now that he's a Pokemon champion and stuff like that? I mean, yes, it's such a great achievement to go do so, but it's like him being him. Now he does sort of like just disappear from then as well. Like, spoilers alert for those who haven't seen Origins. I don't know why you wouldn't have by now, but yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. It's like at the end of Origins, you see Mew and he just then it cuts out. So from him being champion to going to him just giving up champion and going to find Mew for 3 years, it's just like he's disappeared. And then in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, while you're Gold or in Gold and Silver and Crystal, playing as Gold or Ethan, whichever one you prefer, but Ethan is a boss. But when you're going through as him and you finally get to the point where you've defeated all 16 gym badges, and then you go see Red at the top of Mount Silver. After you defeat him, it cuts the credits and he disappears. I mean, you get to go fight him again and again and again over, but after you watch it and he disappears, where does he go from then? Does he why is he up there anyway? Has he give up on trying to find all the Pokemon? Has he because he's found out that there's more than 151 after he's caught Mew? Has he established that maybe capturing Mew is too hard, so he decided to catch all other Pokemon, including all other legendaries and stuff like that? Because in Gold and Silver and Crystal, he seems to have an Espeon, so it's obvious that he's been to the Johto region to get the Espeon. Now, as this is just sort of a theory, I thought that, well, maybe he hasn't just gone and done this. Maybe he's caught all the Pokemon and thought, maybe he has caught Mew and all the other Pokemon, and he needs to wait for his challenge, a real challenge, for someone that can beat him, because he doesn't get beaten other than when he faces Blue them a few times, or maybe it's that once, yeah, and then he makes him cry like a little bitch. But what it's all about is like what happened to him. Where did he go? Did he go to find his father? Because his father's never mentioned in anything other than when you're looking at the Game Boy stuff and stuff and on the computer, as it says it's a sports game. Dad would like this. Is he off fighting that war that apparently is happening? But yeah, maybe is he just waiting up there for a challenge, someone to return to his life, someone to fulfill his destiny and take on his legacy? Maybe that's what he's waiting for. So when you do beat him, and yeah, maybe he does just disappear, but what does he do? Does he go back home? Does he, I don't know, go back go back to the Elite Four and sit in the champions bit and in the champions room and find out that he can't be the best in the world because there's always someone better than him. Now, a lot of people who will have read the manga and probably put this in the comments. Red goes off and fucks Sabrina. End of. That's basically what happens to him there. Yeah, he ends up with Sabrina. That's what everyone thinks by the manga. I don't read much of the manga. I just you know I think that I think that's basically it though. He just goes and fucks Sabrina and then just leaves it at that. But maybe does he just feel like there has to be something there for him to do? Now, Red, known the way he is, he likes a challenge and he doesn't like it to be easy for him. Like when he saves his last Pokemon at the end against I think it's a Rhydon or a Rhyhorn when facing Giovanni and he uses Seismitoss on it. Now you'd expect Charizard to get beat or Lizardon to get beat by a Rhyhorn or a Rhydon by then. But no, he keeps it for himself as a challenge. When he fights Blue with his Charmander, it's water versus fire. Yes, he doesn't understand that, but he likes a challenge. Sorry about that. But is it the fact that he feels that there's something there, something that's going to take him elsewhere? Maybe is he going to wait for you in a new region? Wait for someone who's equally as competitive as him, equally as heart filling as him, for I don't know to maybe go find him and bring him home to show him his path and show him what needs to be done. Now let's go back to after he completes the Pokedex. When he completes the Pokedex, he just goes sees Professor Oaks and says that it's completed. There's nothing more for him to do from there on, so he just sits and chills. And then he remembers about Mew, obviously, which I've mentioned like 3 times now, and he says he has to go catch Mew. So from going to catch Mew to 3 years later, where he has to after defeating Team Rocket and sitting on top of Mount Silver, to him randomly disappearing, what do you actually feel like happens then? Because I know what I feel like. He's after you beaten when you're Ethan or Gold or the other girl's name I can't remember. When you beat him when you're them, does he feel like he's done? Does he commit suicide? I very much doubt it because Red's awesome and he's probably like the best character and he's 10-year-old. He probably doesn't even know how to commit suicide. But no offense, but yeah, does he just feel like he has to move on and forget about what he's done and his accomplishments and feel like he has to settle down? Because I know I wouldn't feel like that. I know I'd try and, like I already have done, catch every single Pokemon in the Pokedex up until the recent date. So until a new region is discovered, does he have to just ignore himself from the world and his challenges and just feel like he doesn't have to be there anymore? Does he have to rid himself of the world until basically the end of the world is nigh? Like when Giovanni comes, it's just him alone fights an entire Team Rocket corporation and which decides to then disband. He done that by himself. So does he feel like he's a hero, something that he doesn't want to be? Say he's like Spider Man. Spider Man's awesome, and being like Spider Man, he has to show that he's capable of doing what's right, not just going around and being there for himself. So I want everyone to comment on what they think, and Bats and Slacks were meant to be doing this with me because they were meant to give their theories, but Bats was just like, oh well, he fucks Sabrina at the end of the manga, blah blah blah, and then yeah, Slacks was just like, just do it by himself. So I want everyone in the comments to say what they think would happens to Red, whether or not he disappears, whether or not he's just like gone, he's ending up with Sabrina, he made Sabrina pregnant and have a child with Sabrina, whether or not he's waiting for his strongest challenge, or maybe he becomes a secret Team Rocket member, which I very much doubt considering he hates them, or he's gone in search for his father, which would be a very interesting thing for him to go find. But the Nintendo has never really introduced or said anything about his father until they said so. Well, which was basically the beginning of the game. Said at the beginning of the series, said that that's a sports game. Dad would like this. Now, I just want everyone to comment on what they would think because I know where my heart is. Well, not my heart, but my mind is on where Red is. And I think Red's just waiting for his next challenge and his next contender. and just for him to prove himself, or maybe he's waiting for him to be strong enough to where he is being incapable of being beaten, to the point where he has every single Pokemon in the entire world and has no way to be defeated, and then he just gives up and settles down. So maybe that's my theory. But I want everyone to comment theirs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and just enjoy the rest of our content. There will be more Pokemon theories and queries in some of the next episodes. Maybe next time I'll do a Pokedex. The Pokedex was really filled, or what was the GS ball for? What did Giovanni really try to save the world? Or some other stuff like that, or who was Ash's father, for example. I don't like Ash. Ash can go suck a dick. But it's just need to think of these things. Like, Nintendo needs to tie these ends up, because my mind is totally lost on these things. So comment what you think. I'll take them into consideration. Maybe I'll come back to this later. Never know. But this is Red signing off from the first ever Theories and Queries episode. I hope you like it, and I will be bringing more of them. Till then, peace.